This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries, the best name in the RV and marine industry. These lithium batteries are designed and assembled in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. The best solution for your battery anxiety, so go check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.
Whether your adventure is on the road, on the water, or off the grid, Battleborn batteries keep you out there longer.
Hi, everyone. This is Kenny, and I am so excited to announce that SnapPad has become a sponsor for the show. It means so much to us to have their support. I purchased SnapPads for our RV over 2 years ago, and I can honestly say if something happened to them today, I would replace them by tomorrow. They have saved my back and setup time by not needing to crawl underneath our Class A to set up blocks under our jack stands. They truly make setting up our RV a snap.
For me, they reduce vibration in the fifth wheel, took 15 minutes to install, and never come off. SnapPads also add a little something extra to the appearance of the jacks. Go check them out at rvsnappad.com.
You are listening to Beyond the Wheel, a podcast about the people and ideas that drive the RV community forward.
Hey, Sean, how are you doing today?
Doing good, Kenny. Trying to survive this isolation from coronavirus.
Yeah, it's so bizarre sitting at a campground right now and having the place to ourselves. It's so empty. Belle's been loving it. She thinks this is, pretty cool that nothing bothers her. No golf carts driving around or people walking by the RV. But to me, it's really just bizarre. I mean, I like things quiet, but it's been a little too quiet for a little too long now.
Yeah, it's kind of what I would picture the beginning of the zombie apocalypse to look like, because, you go outside and there's nobody else out there.
It's funny you say that because I thought the same exact thing. I watch a little bit too much Walking Dead, I think. But yeah, that's the first thing that I thought of too. It's definitely cramping our RV style, I guess. Sabrina and I are used to moving a lot, and now we're kind of hunkered down here in Virginia. And I feel like we're like full-time parking instead of full-time RVing.
It definitely is changing or taking away some of the things that we really enjoy about full-time travel.
Yeah, and the social part of it has been tough for me because I consider myself to be, even though I'm shy, I consider myself to be very friendly. And when all this just had started, Sabrina and I arrived at this campground and we met our neighbors that were 2 sites down. The campground was like putting us every other site, and the guy said, "Hey, I see you guys got Florida plates. We're up here in Virginia." He was like, "What brings you up here?" And I told him that we full-time. He was like, "Oh, I full-time too, and I have a YouTube channel." He's like, "Can I hand you my card and you can find us on YouTube?" And I said, "How about if you just tell me the name of your channel, because I don't want to take anything from you at this time." And I felt bad saying it because I felt kind of rude, but at the same time, you don't know people and you don't know if they were infected or anything like that. So, just by playing it safe, but at the same time, kind of being antisocial, I guess.
Yeah. In fact, when we arrived here, one of the owners helped us park because it was pretty difficult to navigate into our site. And so when we were done and we were all parked, he's introduced himself. But then he said, "I would shake your hand, but, you're just coming here. I don't know where you've been." And I said, "Oh, I completely understand." We left it at that. And it's just strange, very strange.
It is. I kind of like what he said. I guess this guy was straightforward with you. He said, normally I would shake your hand, but in these times, but then you have other people that are on the opposite end of that. We've had people, and I know they're just being friendly, but we had people before this park became empty also knock on our door and invite us to a campfire. And I said, "Oh, no." I said, "Thank you very much." And again, I feel rude or antisocial or unfriendly, but I said, we're practicing social distancing. We're fine staying inside. And it was kind of chilly out. So I said, my wife doesn't even like the cold, really. It'd be a little too cold for her anyway. And he said, "Okay, I understand." And he said, "But if you change your mind, we'll be over there." And again, I said, "No, we're really good. We're not coming over."
That's a big part of RVing is the community. And
yeah,
this has really put a damper on that we've been at 2 campgrounds now. We moved in the middle of this, and both of them like you said, I don't want to use the word unfriendly, but it's definitely against the norm of what the community of full-time RVers is.
Yeah, this is so unlike the RV community. Yeah, this is the exact opposite where RVers are very come together, help you out. You know, you stand outside your RV, scratch your head, somebody will be right over to help you. I don't think that would happen right now, and rightfully so. We're even being unfriendly. You were going to stop here at this campground and stay 2 weeks, I think, but then the shutdown happened in Virginia, and you weren't able to. They wound up canceling your campground, which has been difficult for people as well, even to find a place to stay. You were lucky enough to find a spot. Sabrina and I were lucky enough. They're moving us out of our temporary site into a monthly site, which we've never done before. But yeah, we're even being unfriendly to one another. We can't even see each other.
Yeah, in fact, I have a couple things for you, and we're only a couple hours apart. Right now, we're both in Virginia, and I'm not even going to bring those down to you.
I know. I know when you told me that you had the Disney magnets and stuff, and you said that you were going to mail them. I said, "Oh, don't mail them. I'm going to see you in a couple weeks. Just hand them to me. I could have had them months ago." But hopefully, you know, it sounds like the social distancing is working. You know, New York is getting a little bit better, and maybe in a little while, you know, things can go back to normal. I think it's important that, you know, as much as it sucks, I understand it, and I find it to be very important that we're doing this. So, I mean, there is good reason for it, at least.
Yeah, I think the social aspect of RVing is on a temporary hold, and it is disappointing for those of us that enjoy the social aspect of it. But on the other side, it seems to be to keep the virus from spreading and people from dying. So I guess it's worth it.
It's worth it. Yeah.
to get back to normal at some point, hopefully.
The other half of RVing, or what a big part of RVing is for Sabrina and I, when Sabrina's not at work, we like visiting the areas that we're in, going and exploring the areas, going to the bars, local restaurants, and maybe museums, or just the local activities, and finding out a little bit about the towns. But with the shelter in place and everything being shut down, I mean, not only are we stationary, but we're stationary with no activities to do. And I know that that's a big part of RVing for you guys. You guys actually explore an area a lot better than Sabrina and I do. We always feel like we miss out on stuff. But whenever I talk to you and Julie, you guys always find cool stuff in the areas to do, and I'm sure it's hurting your style as well.
Yeah, in fact, one of the reasons why we came up here to this part of Virginia, well, number one, our son and daughter-in-law live about an hour away. But the other reason why we came to this area is because we really like the Shenandoah Valley, and there's lots of state parks, and there's Shenandoah National Park and some national forest to go out and explore, and all of those things are closed. It really does suck. But we also, like you said, enjoy going to do things in town and doing the local businesses, local restaurants, and none of that is available.
Yeah, none of it at all. In fact, our friends John and Nadia are close by. They're only about 10 miles from here at another campground. And Sabrina and I lived not too far from this area, so we know a couple of things, and we have big plans of taking them to some of our favorite restaurants. Bold Rock Cidery is not too far away, and they do a really nice cidery tour. And John's a big fan of cider, and Bold Rock is Sabrina's favorite cider. So we were going to take them to the cidery and show them that. And I was like, wow, we don't even see John and Nadia because of the shutdown and the social distancing. It's not fun to be an RVer right now.
The social aspect, the exploration aspect, and then for some people, just finding a place to camp is really difficult.
You and Julie were lucky. We were lucky, and John and Nadia got lucky. But this was Sabrina and I's third campground that we went to. We were at a state park, and you're only allowed to stay at a state park for a certain period of time. So we had to leave, but we had reservations to come back, and they called and said, we have to cancel because the state park is closing. There's a welcome center that has full hookups that we enjoy to go to. It's like $25 a night for full hookups. We called them and said, hey, we're on our way to you guys. Do you have any spots available? before we get there. We just want to make sure. And they said, oh yeah, we got plenty of spots, but we're closing, so you can't come. So that didn't work out. And then we just kind of got lucky that we found this KOA, which is weird because we lived not too far from this area and never knew this KOA was here. But we just, I mean, honestly got lucky. We got in here before the shutdown. After the shelter was put in place, they let us stay in the temporary spot. And then they're going to move us over to the monthly sites. But we really, I mean, honestly, we got very lucky.
Yeah, I just talked to Andrew and Janelle from Home with the Hoopers 2 days ago. They went out west this year to boondock and enjoy, you know, all the land out there, particularly the BLM land. And right now, well, 2 days ago, they were in a national forest at Sedona, Arizona, and the ranger came around and said that they were probably going to shut down camping in the national forest. So they were having to leave and go. They were going back home to Texas to ride it out until this ends. So yeah, even like out west where all that BLM land is, people still are having problems finding places to camp.
Yeah. And I would say the campgrounds are also very important for us RVers right now, because Sabrina and I have found that we need full hookups, especially because she's working at a hospital. When she comes home, she needs a shower. And boondocking, dry camping, or not even having a sewer does not work very well when you're trying so careful to stay clean. I mean, I have never, ever washed my hands more than I have in my entire life. I mean, I've washed my hands more this week than I have in my entire life. Having the full hookups for an RVer right now is very important to be able to dump the tanks and have an unlimited supply. She's taking long showers after she gets done work and scrubbing up really, really well. I mean, Sabrina and I are even doing our best to be social distancing in the RV. She's been using the dinette to sleep on, and I've been sleeping in the bed. We're wiping everything down with Clorox. It's not easy times to be living with a doctor at this time, especially a pulmonologist that's going in and taking care of patients with the coronavirus. I mean, we are being so careful. She's mainly sleeping out in the dinette because she's on call every night, but she's developed some type of cough in the last couple weeks. I'm like, I don't know if I want you sleeping next to me with this cough that you have. I don't want to push my luck.
When we were down in Florida at the campground there, just basically because we talk to you and Sabrina all the time, we hear the stories about how bad it can be if you get this. So we were strict social distancing, and one of our neighbors saw Julie outside one day and said that she was getting ready to come knock on our door because they hadn't seen any movement from our RV in a week.
That means you're doing it right.
Yeah, that's what I said. I guess we're doing a good job.
You know what else I kind of miss? And I guess this is a better practice in general anyway, but Sabrina and I have been stocking up on our groceries so that we cut down on the amount of times that we go to the grocery store. I mean, normally we're just like, especially in RV life, because our refrigerator is smaller than what you would have in a home, a resident, and our pantries and smaller too. Like, we usually shop twice a week. Now we're trying to stretch it from 2 weeks to 3 weeks. So we got very creative of where we're storing stuff. So what we have canned goods underneath the steering wheel and behind our captain's chairs. We got like just stacks of canned goods. We made some space in our wardrobe that's supposed to be for clothing, for toilet paper. Of course, our pantry is stocked up, but it's just weird. Like, it's just a different routine. You know, normally we're like, oh, you know what? We do have this in the fridge, but I feel like burgers tonight. I'm going to run out and grab some burgers. And now that's a big no-no for us. We're honestly, we were trying to go like every other week for groceries now. We're really trying to minimize our exposure to people as much as we possibly can, because it's not just the fact that Sabrina could bring the home with her from work, but say I go to Walmart and I come in contact with somebody and then I give it to Sabrina and then Sabrina takes it to the hospital. That could be devastating just as well. So we're really trying to be good about it.
But there are some good things coming out of this. I mean, RVers still are expressing their sense of community, I guess, because Well, there's a couple of things I've seen in the last couple of days. One is Flo from Wheelin' with the Wendy's had to go to the store. She bought extra things like toilet paper and paper towels, things like that, for the elderly people that are parked in the campground as well. So she took all that stuff to the office so the office could donate it, give it to the
Nice.
people that, maybe at a higher risk to do that. So that was one very cool thing that I saw. And then the other thing is the RVs for MDs. I saw a nice Facebook post on that last night where the RVers are really doing a good thing by loaning these RVs to doctors so that they can stay isolated from their families and really keep the chances of their family catching it down to a minimum.
Yeah, it's a really cool site. Sabrina and I were thinking about doing something like that too, maybe picking up a small travel trailer for 3 months or 6 months, however long this will go on for in the hospital. So I would imagine even when things start getting back to normal in the, I will say real world, I don't know what else to call it, the hospitals will have longer cases. Like I think this will go on for a little bit longer in the hospitals. So we were looking at maybe a small travel trailer and we would use it for 6 months because we see other people online with physicians and the physicians are like living in their garages, or the nurses, anybody that works at the hospital. I shouldn't just say physicians, but any hospital staff, they're living in the garage of their home so that they don't bring it into the house. And their spouse and kids are like dropping food at their door for them. And yeah, that RVs for MDs is such a great site, and people are being so generous. They're basically donating their RV for a period of time, no fees. Some of them are stocking it for them. Some of them are taking care of them as far as dumping the tanks and stuff like that for them. And I think that attributes just to how RVers are generous and just good natured people and want to be helpful. And it's a great community.
I think if this continues on for more than the next couple months, though, people the community may change a little bit because people are getting antsy, especially now that it's getting into camping season.
Yeah.
People that aren't full time, spring and summer is the time to get out and go camping. And it's really having a devastating effect on that. We talked to the owners of the campground that we're at right now, and they've had to give out, I think she said, so far they're up to over $8,500 in refunds.
Wow.
Because of the laws here in Virginia that you can't allow any reservations less than 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing, Sean, with the campgrounds. And I don't know what this campground is losing, but they have over 100 sites and they're all empty right now. I would imagine that right around now is when they're starting to ramp up business, and I can't even imagine what they're losing for a campground this size with all those sites, what they're going to lose this season. So I mean, that was the other part that we were so grateful that they kept their monthly sites open. They only have 13 monthly sites. The other 80 to 90 sites are all overnight sites. Their cabins are empty. Nobody's allowed to stay in their cabins. And Sabrina, like, we just got lucky that they're even staying open because they're losing so much money. They're just losing tons of money. We feel bad for them.
Yeah, so I think anywhere you can get out and support a campground or RVing in general, it's probably a good thing to help, especially those small businesses that their lives are centered around RVing. They're all really hurting right now. So yeah, anything you can do to support them. And the Virginia order right now goes till like June 10th.
Yeah, it's a long time.
Yeah, so that takes out Easter, Mother's Day weekend, Memorial Day, all big camping times. So I think we need to support the industry as much as we can.
Yeah. And another way that you can support small businesses and local stuff, Sabrina, I think read this online that, maybe now's not the time to go into a restaurant and eat and stuff like that. But if you have a favorite restaurant and they sell gift cards, buy the gift cards now, and then you can use them later. And maybe it just helps that bar or restaurant kind of limp along until things get back to, I'm putting up quotes here, normal. But yeah, it's great. And it is frustrating. Like you had said that that person is buying toilet paper and paper towels and helping the elderly as much as they can. I still don't understand this toilet paper shortage thing, but the Walmart here now has us limited. We can only buy one pack of toilet paper. And for an RV, we use special RV toilet paper. It dissolves faster and it's better for our septic system. The packs are small for an RV. You only get 4 rolls in a pack, which is, I mean, still enough. But the other people can buy like a 10 pack. We can only buy a 4-pack, but it all counts the same. And I'm like, I don't know too much about coronavirus. I'll be honest, I don't. But I know toilet paper is not the cure, and I'm not sure why it's all gone.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. We were in Florida before we came up to Virginia, and when this all first started, and there was that severe toilet paper shortage, we had to go to 3 different stores to find toilet paper. And the last one we went to was Lazy Days, which is a big RV dealer. They had tons of it. They had tons of RV toilet paper. They said they were getting shipments like every other day or something. Instead of going to Walmart, check your local RV store if they're open, and they may have the stuff that the bigger stores are out of that you need in your RV.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good tip for RVers. That's a good tip. If you're not in RV, don't be stealing our RV toilet paper, because it seems to be the only toilet paper we can get right now. If you're in a house, keep on bouncing from store to store.
And another thing that seemed to be in shortage in Florida was eggs. For some reason,
really?
No place had eggs. My parents lived down there, and they had to go to like 2 towns over to be able to find a dozen eggs. But the campground that we're staying at here, they have chickens. So we have fresh eggs every day if we go into the little campground office.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah.
That's cool. The office here isn't even open. We've been on this site, or we've been on this campground now for almost 3 weeks. We haven't seen anybody yet. The office has been closed. When we first pulled up here, they had everybody's name on a piece of paper, stapled, almost like if you would pull in like overnight, how they have those, like the late check-in type of thing. And it just had your name and what site. And it said, due to social distancing, the office is closed. If you need us, we live on the property. You can call us and we will talk to you, but you won't see us. I was like, oh, well, I guess they're doing as much as they can because they are still open. And I guess they want to be able to follow the rules as much as possible, because I don't even know if anybody's checking this stuff, but I'm sure they don't want to be shut down if they don't have to be. So I would imagine that's part of the reason for doing as much as possible.
Like you said earlier before we started recording, we're doing what is necessary today so that we can enjoy RVing again tomorrow.
Yeah, definitely. And there is some changes that have been made, but some things are, I guess, for the positive. I'll tell you, I talk to my parents a lot more. I talk to my brother a lot more now because everybody's home. So it's been fun. I've been catching up with a lot of friends that I haven't talked to in a long time. So in that sense, it's a positive thing. We've been doing like video chats and just a whole lot more conversation and talking. So that's been, I guess, a positive of everything, is just being able to catch up with friends and family again. I think that's pretty cool.
And, just to put things in perspective, particularly for full-time RVers, I think we have a pretty good life where we have a lot of flexibility in how we can live our life. And I think about people like my brother right now. He's deployed in the Middle East. He can't come home. They've extended them staying in place because they don't want people traveling. So he's stuck in the desert somewhere, not being able to be near his family and not being able to talk to as many people as he would back at home.
Yep, I always say things can always be worse. That is for sure. I mean, this is pretty bad, but things can always be worse. I even thought maybe I could take this time and learn like a new language, but I've tried in the past and I'm horrible at it. Do you know anybody that's been doing things like that though? Maybe like trying out, or maybe trying to learn something new that they've never learned before. I figured this might be a good time for things like that as well.
Yeah, I don't know anybody, but I do know that I have been doing a lot. One of my hobbies is dabbling in the stock market, and I've been
Mm.
doing a lot more learning as far as trading goes. So I
So
think,
now's a good time, right?
yeah, now's a good time to. So that's one of the things I've been doing, and I also have always wanted to get better at the guitar, and I just never seem to have time because so busy doing other things. And now's a good time probably to pick up the guitar again and try and learn something new.
I will say though, I think you are just as busy now as you were before. Well, last month or 2 months ago, you were really, really busy. So I guess you're a little quieter now than you were.
We would have been traveling to RV shows all this month, all the month of April, but that all stopped. So it's definitely opened up some more time.
Yeah, that's another thing that has changed. All these RV shows are not happening. I know Sabrina and I look forward to Winnebago Rally every year in July, and they haven't canceled it yet, but they keep pushing back registration because they're just trying to play it by ear. I don't know what's going to happen. I think if I was, my personal opinion, I think if I was Winnebago, I would probably cancel because, this virus, it preys upon the elderly a little bit. And at the Winnebago rally, you do have that demographic that is much older. And maybe it might just not be a good time to have it. And as much as that pains me, and I kind of feel the same thing about the Hershey PA show being in September, being in such a dense area. I know that's a long way away, but I'm even looking at that like maybe that's not going to happen. And Sabrina and I had big plans of being there this year.
Yeah, we were going to be there together.
I know that it's but again, they're I mean, the worst thing we could do is kind of relax and get a second wave to come through and shut us down for even a longer period of time, and to put more people at risk. I mean, that's the big thing. You don't want to put anybody at risk. We want as little casualties as possible. And I use the word casualties in the term of war, but it feels a little bit like a war. I mean, this is probably the closest thing I'll ever come to war. I'm not fighting anybody.
So what are you doing to get out and not be stuck inside?
The campground here is very nice. Everything's closed. They got a bowling alley and all this stuff, but all that stuff's shut down. But they did leave the dog park open. So I'm not even supposed to say the word P-A-R-K. Her ears perked up. So every day I take Belle for a W-A-L-K, and then I take her to the P-A-R-K, and I bring a ball. And I don't even pick it up. I just kick it. I don't even touch it with my hands. And I kind of misspoke. I don't bring it. There's been one in this PARK for the longest time. And I just kick it around and she chases it.
Yeah.
So I've been spending a lot more time, and she doesn't mind, but I've been spending a lot more time with Belle just outdoors. When the weather's been nice. I mean, we had horrible. You would never guess that this is Virginia in springtime. It went down to 32 degrees and we had snow in the morning.
Yeah.
So, but when the weather's been nice, yeah, I've just been outside with I call her the little one, just taking the little one out. And I got my bikes out for once it warms up a little bit. So I'll be getting back on the bike. Anything that I can do that doesn't involve other people and, things like that. We've been busy. Actually, surprisingly enough, you and I have been very busy with the podcast. This is our third recording this week alone.
Yeah.
So that's been great.
And we have some great episodes too. I mean, we've been getting some really good. That's been one benefit, I think, of the slowdown is that some of the people that we wanted to talk to that are so busy normally have had time to sit down with us and spend some quality time talking about the business and things like that. So yeah, it's been beneficial for the podcast for sure.
Yeah, this has been great for us. People are like, oh, I got nothing better to do. I guess I'll talk to Kenny and Sean on their show. They've been asking me to come on for a little while. Yeah, so it's been very beneficial for us. Yeah, and Sabrina's just been busy. So I've been trying to help her out in any way I can. So when she comes home, her dinner's ready, so she doesn't have to worry about, something to eat. Well, I've been doing all the cleaning. I mean, we usually share that stuff, but I've been doing all the like the cleanup and stuff like that. I've been doing all the cooking. She's on her 6th day in a row of 12 hours a day. So she's doing call at night. So she's been really exhausted when she comes home from the hospitals.
And even she took time out to talk to us. We had a really good podcast a couple weeks ago about the coronavirus. So even she took time out of her busy schedule to educate us a little bit on the virus.
Yeah, she really enjoyed it too. She loves talking about work. She likes talking about the hospital. She really likes to learn, and she likes to share her experiences and her knowledge. So she really enjoyed. I know she would definitely come on the podcast again, because she was trying to come on our podcast for actually a long time. And I kept on telling her, I was like, well, you don't really fit in our program. I don't know how you would want to. I said, you're not really making RVing better for anybody, is what I would tell her. But then this all happened. I was like, you know what? You can actually help the RVers, and we're going to invite you on the show. And she was really, Sean, she was really excited. She's like, it's about time. She's like, I've been looking forward to coming on the show for a long time. So she had a blast. She really enjoyed it.
One thing I was worried about by not being able to do the regular things that we do as RVers and basically spending a lot of time inside the RV is I thought we would start spending a lot of money on like Amazon and online shopping. Mm-hmm. And thankfully, we haven't done that yet. We've been staying busy, like watching Netflix. I watched the whole 3 seasons of Ozark, and
it's a good show.
Tiger King and all those, but haven't really spent any money on online shopping.
I wish I could say the same. I have not spent money on Amazon or online shopping, but Sabrina has been on a shopping spree. And I will say most of the things that she's been shopping for have been PPE for at the hospital, the personal protection, masks. She's got some scary looking masks now. I said to her, if you wear that mask and go into a patient's room, you're going to terrify them. It's this big, it's like from a 1970s sci-fi movie. It's just a big mask with the glass shield over her face, and it's got the 2 respirators coming out the side. I was like, they're scary looking. I was like, you can't be wearing that in a patient. But that's the kind of stuff that she's been buying, more scrubs. What else? Just all kinds of more gloves. And so she's been on like that type of shopping spree type of thing, which I guess is good. But some of that stuff's expensive. Those masks were expensive. But yeah, we've been doing a lot of Netflix, and I've noticed that we're trying to watch, because everything's so solemn, everything at the hospital and then the news. So we've been watching Cheers. Sabrina never saw Cheers. She never watched it when it was on. She's never seen reruns. And I was like, it might be, you might be a little too young for it. It's based in the 80s. You might not even really care for it, but she's been loving it. She laughs so much during that show. She really likes all the characters. And it was, Cheers was a really good show, but I wasn't sure if she would like it or not, but she's been really enjoying it.
Have you guys done any like board games or anything like that?
I would, and I think board games are great. I like Uno, I like Scrabble, and things like that, but I cannot get Sabrina to sit down and play a board game. She said they're called board games for a reason. She doesn't like them. Uno she'll play every once in a while, but it's like, I gotta like twist her arm. She doesn't like the card games. Yeah, nothing. Doesn't like Scrabble. I wish she would, because I grew up playing board games as a kid, like with my grandparents. Just every Sunday I would go to my grandparents and we played board games. So I really enjoy them, and she has no interest. How about you guys?
No, I'm like Sabrina. I don't like board games. I don't even like video games really. So that's been a good thing for me, because it doesn't distract me from other things,
Yeah.
So I've just been probably working more than anything else during this.
I know you've been doing a lot of podcast editing.
Yeah.
But you also did some editing for Battleborn. Recently. I think you should talk about that a little bit and direct people to those videos.
Yeah, so on Battleborn social media, Battleborn Batteries, what we did was we filmed, it was the idea of John Najedlow from GeoAstro RV, just to sit down with some folks and talk to them about how their off-grid setup, their batteries and their solar, have sort of helped them during this time. If they can't find a campground to get into, how much easier the off-grid setup has made it for them. And then we also just talked about it in general too, like some of the benefits. So we did about 4 or 5 of them. It was me and Dennis, the CEO, and then we did one with RV Love. We did one with the Explorist, who's a van life person.
I saw that one. That was a good one.
Yep. And we did Wheelin' with the Wendy's. We did Geo Astro RV, and we did Home with the Hoopers. And they're just like 7 to 10 minute videos that really are just a conversation about not only the coronavirus time, but just off-grid living in general. And so they're posting them over the next couple of weeks on their social media. If you see them, I guess I'm kind of partial to them since I did all the editing and some of the talking, but it's really just a good conversation with folks about off-grid. And so they'll be out over the next couple of weeks. Just go to like the Battleborn Batteries Facebook page or to Instagram, I guess, and they're posting them there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that episode that you sent me after you finished editing it. So I'm looking forward to seeing the other ones as well. And I would also like to give a shout out to Battleborn. They found out that Sabrina was short on N95 masks, and they had them in their warehouse, and they overnighted her a box of 40 masks. And I thought that was awesome. And I said, I'm going to have to share this. We'll be sharing this on Instagram and our YouTube channel and stuff like that. And they said, don't worry about it. They said, they didn't even say, don't worry about it. They said, don't do that. They said, nobody needs to know. I was like, well, I think it's important that people know that you guys are that awesome. We didn't ask them for masks. To be honest with you, I can't remember how they found out that she was short at the hospital, but they did. And they overnighted her 40 masks. It was unbelievable. They're a great group of people.
Yeah. Again, that's kind of, I think why they fit in so good with the RV community is because they're like-minded in like generosity and community and things like that.
We really like them over there. But I guess in closing, I would just like to say, I think the social distancing is working. I think we are seeing, I'm seeing improvement. If you're going to use New York as the baseline, that the numbers are not going up anymore. It's kind of flatlining. So I think we're all doing a great job. And I think, we will get back to RVing again in the more natural sense of being able to move and explore and to visit and meet and greet and make new friends. I mean, we'll get there again.
Yeah, I hope it's by November because we have reservations at Fort Wilderness. And,
exactly.
Those are hard to come by usually. And I think next year is going to be really hard to get in there because of everybody that couldn't go this year. So I'm hoping that we're able to keep those reservations and be able to enjoy some post-coronavirus fun at Disney.
Yeah, I think once everything's opened back up again, not only Disney, but just everything. It's just going to be tough to get into a restaurant, a bar. Yeah. People would all be so excited. They're going to be like running out of their homes to go do stuff again. Yeah. That'll be a sight to see for sure.
Yeah, for sure. Like I said, stay tuned to the podcast because we have some really good episodes coming up. We have had some great conversations with some folks that we have really had a hard time getting on the show. So stay tuned for that. And if you like the episode, go ahead and leave, or if you don't like it even, leave a rating or review on whatever platform you listen to us on. And if you have any cool things that you've been doing during the coronavirus shutdown, send us a message and let us know. And maybe we'll highlight a couple of those on a future episode.
Take care, everybody. Safe travels and be well. This episode is brought to you by Battleborn Batteries, the best name in the RV and marine industry. These lithium batteries are designed and assembled in the USA, backed by a 10-year warranty. The best solution for your battery anxiety. So go check them out at battlebornbatteries.com.
Whether your adventure is on the road, on the water, or off the grid, Battleborn Batteries keep you out there longer.